Every other day, we hear something new that the once Duke and Duchess of Sussex had planned or said or done. It's like the media dislikes them but is obsessed with them simultaneously. We're getting major jilted lover vibes right about now. The latest is that these two were said to raise baby Archie in Africa when they got axed from the royal family. If you want to know more, stay right with us. First off, the Great Migration.
Early this morning, a very healthy boy. Mother and baby are doing incredibly well. It's been the most amazing experience.
We can all agree that Harry is the wild child when it comes to the royal family. Charming like his mother, honest, sweet, and different. And what sets him apart is that he doesn't suppress his true personality, which makes him look as human as the other Joe. Sure, people expect a certain kind of proper behavior from the monarchy, but humanity always gets to them. Princess Diana was a great example of that. The prince seemed to want his firstborn to be as culturally diverse as possible. And according to a friend of his, zoologist Dame Jane Goodall, who's 88 years old, the prince was all for his son being raised while running barefoot with African children. Oh, can you imagine a little prince being raised in Africa? Because that was just the plan before the two stepped down from their royal positions. The courtiers were busy coming up with plans to make the most of their living situation in the continent because let's face it, this would have been epic for the crown. Two of their senior royals choosing to put down roots in that part of the world would have given them a huge edge. And while the men planned successful roles that had fit the two, the couple decided to head on to California instead, with their children in tow. So now we can get that these two stepped on several toes before leaving. Coming up, tailor-made roles for the Sussexes. All of us have seen enough seasons of The Crown to know exactly the family's tasks. It represents the British monarchy, preserving the charm of a once great past, and the same was being planned for Africa. The behind-the-scenes people created bespoke roles for the family to play while they lived there. It allowed them to escape the media's scrutiny and experience a culturally diverse heritage. To be honest, this sounds like a win-win situation. This planning party was headed by Sir David Manning, former British ambassador, who was going to combine charity work by the Commonwealth and the promotion of Britain in the couple's duty while living there. And why did they think that these two would be great for these roles? Prince Harry's been there many times and has a deep connection with the place, as one of his ex-girlfriends, Chelsea Davy, is from Zimbabwe. Apart from that, he has co-founded Centabale, a charity to support the vulnerable children in the area, with Prince Siesu of Lesotho. There's also the fact that Meghan Markle would have felt right at home, given that she's 43% Nigerian, as she said in her new podcast. To be honest, we find the last bit a little racist, like the woman's been raised in America. Just because she's a person of color doesn't exactly determine how comfortable she might have been in the African continent. Following up, what else did the dame say? Since she's the one who broke the news to the media, we wanted to find out what else she said, and it looks like it all has good things about the prince. The two share a friendship, and the Duke also interviewed the popular primatologist for a cover that his wife edited for Vogue. She doted on the babies and is on good terms with the family. She has refused to talk about all the scandals that revolve around the couple after their move to the US, as well as the book, Spare, that the prince has written post giving up his title. What she said shows that she has a lot of faith in Harry, despite what has gone down. She said, "I don't talk about them now. Of course, I have my views and I think Harry cares. I think he does. My times that I talked with him, I just felt that he was a nice, good person. To be honest, we don't doubt his intentions either and think he did what was best for his family. The fact that the couple has gotten so much hate for giving up something troubling for their mental health is scary. It also shows that people and the royal family need to work on their empathy. Just because he's a prince doesn't mean he has to bow down to every idea. Not to mention, the more they're themselves, the more relatable."
Listening in on that, and thank you for sharing that. We're just so proud as President and Vice President of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust that we can support you in everything that you're doing.
We'll go out on a limb here and add that he reminds us so much of Princess Di. She was truly a people's princess, and her son has taken after her. While we get that the family didn't get her, the public couldn't get enough of her. It's also insane to see a monarchy hasn't learned anything from the past. The family is so distant that they hardly seem human. It's 2022, and we're all talking about our feelings. Get with the times already. already. They handled the whole Diana fiasco exactly how they handled the couple's exit, and it reflected poorly on them. While we've little hope of this situation resolving anytime soon, with Charles now king, we do think that if they aren't careful, this might be it for them. Let's look at how they undermined the Queen.
She gave Justin Trudeau a piece of her mind after the Canadian Prime Minister reminded her that he's the 12th PM to serve during her reign.
We mean, it's hard to believe such a thing would ever be possible, but Her Majesty was pretty offended with how the couple behaved. So as the two were planning their exit from the system, the couple decided to register Sussex Royal as a global trademark, allowing them to use it as a brand. Since this is a royal title, the Crown essentially owns it, and proper permissions must be taken to use it. This is something that Harry and Meghan gave no attention to, as they applied to the World Intellectual Property Organization. This move came right when they were all set up to step down from their duties and move to the United States. We all know what happened next. The Queen shut them down, and it wouldn't have happened like that if the prince had just spoken to his grandmother before he made a move. This was seen as a major move, and there's also the fact that whatever the couple might have produced under the brand would be associated with the royal family. We're sure she only wanted some reassurance about what they planned to do, but the timing was so off that it looked like the couple had been punished for offending the monarch. You know, we get this. Tensions were so high at that time, they should have thought this through. Up next, the Queen kept the crown supreme.
Is the best policy when presented with a Jubilee cake earlier this year.
Supposed to sound when we're stationery.
Is just who she was. All her life, she had been taught to put her duty as the ruler ahead of anything else. And if nothing else, this is something that she could do completely. What it cost her or other family members is another thing entirely. Even though she was quick to stop the whole trademark situation, Her Majesty took a lot of interest in putting together a strategy that would help the couple with the move and ease them into their new situation. She was a grandmother after all, and from what we've heard, she always had a soft spot for the red-haired prince. Finally, the news of her being racist might have been exaggerated.
One needed reminding. The monarch told the visiting First Minister of Northern Ireland and royal fans all over the world.
Well, that's what the royal biographer said. Mr. Lacey explained that the Queen had been delighted when Harry had started dating Meghan and had warmed up to her instantly. He said she was quite happy that the prince had found someone who matched his energy. We can imagine her being a cute granny, doting on her grandchildren. There's also the fact that having been the head of state of such a multicultural society, she was more than happy to welcome Markle into the Windsor family. While we can't say what happened between them all, we think both sides could be at fault. The royal family has been raised with rules that might be quite tough to follow for outsiders. It is important to remember that while she'd chosen to marry the prince, the actress had a life of her own, and the system might have felt too much. Had this not been seen as offensive, things might have been very different for everyone involved. That's a wrap for this video. Do you feel Princess Harry and Meghan Markle are as sinister as the royalty makes them out to be? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and press that bell icon for the latest information and news like this. See you at the next one.